correspondent for Vanity Fair and a former investment banker himself. William, we just saw that clip where it talks about the $700 billion bailout Congress passed in 2008 to prevent the collapse of some of the biggest firms on Wall Street. How did we get to that point? I mean, where the global economy was really on the brink of collapse and only a bailout package of that magnitude would stop it?
Well, it was a number of years in the coming, right? I mean, it didn't just happen overnight. Nobody rings a bell at the top of the market and says, okay, it's all down here from there. But look, you know, people were speculating on homes. People were getting mortgages who should never have had them. U.S. presidents Bush and Clinton had been pushing home ownership. The government had been pushing banks to make mortgages available to people who couldn't get them before. And of course, Wall Street was exacerbating all this. They were taking all of these mortgages, packaging them up into mortgage-backed securities, and selling them off as investments all over the world. That was where the cancer got exported around the world, and that's where things began to get really dangerous.
I mean, just how close did we come to the financial system actually falling apart?
Look, it was very, very close to complete and total meltdown. I mean, I think, we've never seen anything like that in our lifetime. You literally have to go back, as Phil Angelides said, to 1929, 1930 to figure out anything remotely close to this. It was absolutely frightening. I can't believe it was 10 years ago, and we came very close to the edge.
Public backlash against this bailout really turned into a battle of Main Street versus Wall Street. People felt betrayed by the institutions they had previously trusted. The American dream no longer seemed attainable to millions of people. What kind of impact did the psychological fallout from this crisis have on the country, do you think?
Well, I think it was very short-term psychological damage. Institutions that we once had a lot of faith in, the banks, Wall Street, were completely shattered. A lot of faith was lost in Congress because they voted down the TARP the first time and only passed it the second time. But I mean, honestly, if you look at the economy now, you look at the animal spirits that are raging now, you look at how well Wall Street and supposedly the economy is doing now, I think it was sort of a short-term, frightening, and really scary effect. But I think, you know, now 10 years later, I bet most people don't even remember it. I mean, most people who are young on Wall Street couldn't even tell you what had happened.
What do you think we learned, and have we made the fundamental changes that would prevent something like that from happening again?
I wish I could say that we had, but of course we haven't, because the main driver of bad behavior on Wall Street is the compensation system. It's what people get rewarded to do. People are pretty simple. They do what they're rewarded to do. On Wall Street, they are still rewarded to take big risks with other people's money. They are not rewarded to take prudent risks. And until people are rewarded to take prudent risks, we're going to end up in the very same situation again. And I'm afraid that it's going to happen much sooner than anyone would like, and it'll be just as bad as the last one, if not worse. We need to change what bankers on Wall Street are rewarded to do, so they're not rewarded to swing for the fences as if it were somebody else's money, because it is, as opposed to their own money, where they're going to be much more prudent about their risk-taking. That's the single biggest thing we should change if we want to change this kind of an outcome from happening again.
Does that need to come from Congress?
No, I mean, it's not something that should be legislated. It's something that can happen from real leadership on Wall Street. It's something that Jamie Dimon, the head of JP Morgan Chase, should be thinking about. It's something that Lloyd Blankfein, the